Most of the time when I use my Pocket 3, I just leave it in automatic mode, like right now. This is just automatic mode. I don't want to be bothered with all the little minutia of the settings and everything. I just want to press record, aim it at whatever I want to record, and call it a day. But there are times where I do want to be in control of the minutia. I want to set the shutter speed. I want that natural motion blur. I want richer colors and things like that. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to change my Pocket 3 into manual mode and change the shutter speed to what I want, change the ISO to what I want, make the white balance what I want, and let's see what happens. Okay, this footage doesn't make anybody happy. I mean, everything's blown out, so what's the problem? Well, since it's in manual mode, it's gonna let in just as much light as I tell it to. And right now there's way too much light coming in. So there's one way you can solve this problem, and that's by putting on a filter. So recently a company reached out to me and said, hey, try our filters out. And here's one of their little filters. This is an ND32, so I'm gonna put it on right now. There, now isn't that so much better already? This is an ND32 filter set at, I have it set to 1/60, and ISO is 100. And you can already tell that the color is a lot better, the image looks nicer, all the blown out issues are gone. And just like that, you have more control over your camera. Now, if you want to change some of the settings, maybe change the ISO to 200, you can do that. The filter keeps the light under control and makes your images look much nicer. And just like every other filter video out there, the easiest comparison is it's like sunglasses. When you put sunglasses on your eyes, it cuts down the brightness of the sun. You can have darker sunglasses and it brings the sun down even more. But that's what this does. But at the same time, it also brings out more of the colors, and it just gives you a better image overall. And the company that sent me this filter is a company called Aloof, A-L-O-O-F, which is kind of funny to me because in English that translates to, you know, distant and uninterested. So I don't, that seems like an odd name for a company, but hey, whatever. It is what it is. Now this company sent me this pack, and inside this pack is an ND32, an ND16, and an ND64. Each one of them changes how much light it lets through. So I'm going to change this to an ND16. Okay, now this is the ND16 filter. It's the same settings, 1/60, 100 ISO. The 16 lets in a little bit more light than the 32 that we just had on. You know, this is good for maybe overcast days or kind of dusky times like it is right now. Probably when I go back and look at this footage, I'm kind of be flipping between the 16 and the 32, figuring out which one I like the best. Now just for grins, I'll put the 64 on next, and that's probably going to bring down the light a little too much. All right, here we are. This is the ND64, and you can probably tell that the light has really kind of has dropped quite a bit. So this is probably not the right place or the right settings for an ND64. Probably the best settings for an ND64 is maybe high noon, or maybe if you're skiing, snow skiing, where the snow is so bright and there's so much reflected light everywhere. So, but right now is not really the best time for an ND64, so I'm going to switch it back to an ND32. All right, here we are back with the ND32. There was one other filter in this pack, and it's a CPL filter. It's used to kind of manage glare. So if you want to shoot through maybe a piece of glass or off of a screen, it can reduce the glare. Okay, so I'm back with the ND32. The other interesting thing about when you put a filter on is whatever the settings are, they're going to stay that way. So when it's in automatic mode and you walk from the shadows into the light, you might see the image change. But when you have a filter and you're doing it in manual mode, nothing changes. You're going to get the same settings the whole time through the video. So let's go for a little walk. We'll walk through some shadows into the light and then the light into the shadows. Just kind of see how things change up. So it's some interesting images, and now the sun's a little different from where it was before, so it'll be interesting to see how the ND32 changes here. I think it's a little shadier here. The sun's kind of peeking through up about through there, so I really don't know. Maybe when I'm looking at the screen right now, it looks kind of dark, but maybe when I look at it on the computer at home, it'll be a lot better. But I do like the filters and that it gives you so much more control over what your image is going to look like, and you're not just kind of bowing down to the DJI automation. This is the case that these filters come in. It's kind of a nondescript plastic case, just some kind of foam inserts to hold the filters themselves. I've seen better cases for filters. I have a Freewell set of filters right here, and this is a very sturdy case. It's magnetized, so when you close it, there's a nice sounding snap. The Aloof box, maybe this is where the name came from. It's not much interest in the packaging, I don't know. There are a couple of good perks with these filters. They're very thin. A lot of times when you turn your Pocket 3 off, and you know how the gimbal top kind of spins and closes in on itself, if the filter's too wide, it won't close properly. It's so thin that you can leave it on. The Pocket 3 will close up just as nicely as it would if it didn't have a filter on there. So that's a real nice perk, because kind of a hassle to carry these cases around and always having to remember, okay, I'm gonna open it up. I've gotta, make sure I don't drop it or anything like that. So I kind of like the fact that they're super thin and they close up on themselves. So that just about covers these Aloof filters. I think they were about $65 for the 4. That seems to be pretty competitive with just about most other filter companies that aren't kind of supreme and go off the deep end in terms of their functionality. I would like to see this case be a little nicer. It's really bush league case compared to some others that I've seen. But I mean, in the end, it's the filter that you care about, and these filters seem to work pretty well. So I will continue to use these. I guess on that note, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.